Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Vihari Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivanadari Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivanadari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Vihari Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivanadari Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivanadari Yashodanandana Vrajajana Ranjana Yashodanandana Vrajajana Ranjana Yamuna Tira Vanachari Yamuna Tira Vanachari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivanadari Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivanadari Shodanandana Vrajajana Ranjana Yashodanandana Vrajajana Ranjana Yamuna Tira Vanachari Yamuna Tira Vanachari Yamuna Tira Vanachari Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Jaya Prabhupada, 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 Jaya Prabhupada. Jaya Vishnupad Paramahamsa, Prabhupada Asatyosa Shishimad, His Divine Grace, Srila A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami, Srila Prabhupada Ki. Anantakota Vaishnavanda Ki Jai, Namacharya Srila Haridas Thakur Ki Jai, ISKCON Founder Acharya Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai, Prem Sikaho Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda, Shri Advaita Gadadhar, Shivasati Gaur Bhaktivinoda Ki Jai, Shri Radha Krishna Gopalya Samakun Radhakun Giri Govardhan Ki Jai, Shri Vrindavan Ki Jai, Shri Mayapurna Abdam Ki Jai, Ganga Maya Ki Jai, Jamuna Maya Ki Jai, Tulsi Devi Ki Jai, Bhakti Devi Ki Jai, Samaveda Bhaktivinoda Ki Jai, Transcendental Book Distribution Ki Jai, Harinam Sankirtan Ki Jai. Go Premanandi. All glory some devotees, all glory some devotees, all glory some devotees, all glory Shishi Guru and Siguranga. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. So, this morning we're reading from the Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 5, Chapter 15, The Descendants of King Priyavrata, text number 12. Yashadhare Bhagavan Advaratma Maghuni Madhyati Uru Sama Pite Shraddha Vasudhachala Bhakti Yoga Samara Piteja Palam Ajahara Yashadhare Bhagavan Advaratma Maghoni Bhajuru Somapite Shraddha Vasudhachala Bhakti Yoga Samarpiteja Phalam Ajarhara Yashadhare Bhagavan Advaratma Maghoni Madhyaju Maghoni Yet Yuru Some Pite Shraddha Visuddhachala Bhakti Yoga Samarpite Jhafaram Ajahara Yasyad Hare Bhagavan Advaratma Muhorni Madhyukru Samarpite Shraddha Visuddhachala Bhakti Yoga Samarpite Jhafaram Ajahara Nisyadre Bhagavan Yasyadre Bhagavan Avaratma Yasyadre Bhagavan Avaratma You want to try? Yasyadre Bhagavan Avaratma Mahorme Madhyurup Samapite Shraddha Visuddhachala Bhakti Yoga Samarpite Jhafaram Ajahara Yasyadre Bhagavan Avaratma Yasya, of whom? King Goya, Advare, in his different sacrifices. Bhagavan, the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Advara Atma, the Supreme Enjoyer of all sacrifices. The Yajna Purush, Mughoni, when King Indra, Madhyati, intoxicated, Uru, greatly, Samapite, drinking the intoxicant called Sama, Shraddha, by devotion, Vishuddha, purified, Achala, and steady, Bhakti Yoga, by devotional service. Samarpita, offered. Ijja, or worshipping. Phalam, the result. Ajahara, accepted personally. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace, Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. In Maharaj Gaya's sacrifices, there was a great supply of the intoxicant known as Sama. King Indra used to come and become intoxicated by drinking large quantities of Samaras. Also, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Lord Vishnu, the Yagya Purush, also came and personally accepted all the sacrifices offered unto him with pure and firm devotion in the sacrificial arena. You notice he didn't drink the Sama. Lord Vishnu is self-satisfied. He doesn't have to drink to experience pleasure. Purport: Maharaj Gaya was so perfect that he satisfied all the demigods who were headed by the heavenly King Indra. Lord Vishnu himself also personally came to the sacrificial arena to accept the offerings. Although Maharaj Gaya did not want them, he received all the blessings of the demigods and the Supreme Lord himself. Om Jnana Tamarandasya Gyananjana Salakaya Chakshum Militam Jena Tasmai Sri Gurave Namaha Mukum Kurtava Chalang Pangun Langhayate Gurim Yatkripa Taraham Vande Shigurum Dinataranam Vanchakapatubhyascha Kripa Sindhu Bhyevacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Srivasadi Gaur Bhaktivinoda Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Here, in the purport, Prabhupada mentioned that Maharaj Gaya was so perfect that he satisfied all the demigods. So, Maharaj Gaya, he was God. So, it's not difficult to be perfect as God. Now, a lot of people in this world, they want to be God. They think that they can be God and they can be perfect. Just yesterday, I was speaking to a person, and he was interested in the book, but he said, "So you believe in deities, worshiping deities?" I said, "Yeah, God's, He's the supreme. He's creating everything. He's the cause of all causes. All the pleasures that we experience, all the advantages we have, is coming. God's given to us." He said, "Well, now I understand what you're saying. I just don't believe in this worship. Bowing down to a deity." And he said, "Well, what about becoming the deity?" He wanted to be God. So many people are like that, like probably millions. So I said, first you have to understand, what is God? He's creating universes. Well, what do? We create a mess. It's like that saying that God created the forest and man created the city. The forest is beautiful. And we create what they call it, the concrete jungle. We just create a mess. So then he said, "All right, I'll take one." So he got a Bhagavad Gita, Srimad Bhagavatam. Prabhupada has given us so much practical information, but there's so many cheaters out there. There was one I was just reading recently in Singapore. There's all different types of, because there's a lot of Indians there and a lot of natives that are kind of innocent, and so many cheaters. And there's one cheater, he said, "You give me $200, you'll be God. 1 year, you'll be God. Give me $200. And people are giving it, It's like people, cheaters and cheated, right? Such rascals. And then people are selling mantras, so much cheating going on. So Prabhupada, he came to give us the pure message. I have not come to cheat you, but I've come to give. Prabhupada had this very benevolent mood, which is sannyasi. That's natural for a pure sannyasi who wants to help people. So he had that mood of giving to others. So here Maharaj Gaya, he is doing a sacrifice, and Lord Vishnu himself appeared, and Lord Indra and many demigods, and they were all pleased. So of course in this age, Krishna Varnam Chasa Krishnam Sangupang Astaparsam Yagyai Sankirtana Prayar Yajantihi Samedasa, that in this age, intelligent persons, they worship the personality of Godhead who's always chanting the holy names. Who is that? Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And although he's not blackish, he's Krishna himself. And he's appeared with his very dear associates, his companions and servants, to give the holy name. So this is the sacrifice. He's brought the sacrifice for the age of Kali. It's this chanting of the Hare Krishna mantra. And when we chant the name Krishna, Radharani is very pleased. And when we chant Hare, meaning Radharani, Krishna is very pleased. So by chanting this Hare Krishna mantra, we please Radha and Krishna, and we get purified. Because they're the purest. The more we connect with Krishna, with Radharani, with Balaram, Ram, the more we get purified. And this is the goal. This is why we're here. This is, Prabhupada said, these temples are like, they're hospitals where we're coming, we're trying to get cured of the disease. And what is the disease? Material attachment. So many attachments to this world. So this is the medicine. Lord Chaitanya, or actually Bhaktivinoda Thakur, he writes this song, that, how long are you going to sleep on the lap of the witch Maya? I have brought the medicine to cure the disease of materialism. Now take this chanting of Hare Krishna mantra and be cured. So if we chant this mantra, then we're going to become free of attraction to Maya. Maya means illusion, but it also means, this word also means magician. Maya is the best magician. Maya has created these bodies. And what are these bodies made of? It's described that there's 78 different organs in the body, along with the blood, and then so many different things, obnoxious things. Maya puts all this together, and a man just goes mad after the form of a woman. And similarly, a woman goes mad after the form of a man. But it's just a combination of all these different obnoxious elements. It's the best magic show on the planet. Maya puts all these ingredients together, and a man just can't live without it. A woman also can't live without. But what's actually attractive is the soul. This is what's attractive. Maybe a very attractive woman, Miss Universe. Of course, it's ridiculous. On this planet, we have Miss Universe. I mean, hello. There's a They don't know there's other planets, or there's women that Prabhupada said that there's women on other planets that make the women in this planet look like frogs. Yeah. Just unbelievably beautiful. Yeah. Compared to the woman, and they say on this planet there's Miss Universe. No, not quite. But even Miss Universe here on this planet, she's very attractive, but as soon as you take the soul away, the soul, the body minus the soul, not attractive. Especially after 10 days. Decomposed. Yeah. Without the soul, the body just decomposes, becomes completely disgusting, horrible. So as soon as the soul leaves the body, immediately, burn it or bury it or something. You got to, nobody, it's just. Yeah, please come in. A dead body, just you do away with it. You got to bury it or burn it or something, or some religion that you give it to the birds. Yeah. So it's the soul that's attractive, especially when the soul is pure. That's when it's really attractive. Just like Prabhupada was so attractive. Pure soul. He attracted so many people because he is a pure soul. And it's natural, actually, for us to be pure. We're just covered by these modes of material nature. And to get free, it's a big challenge. Like yesterday we heard about challenges. So that's the big challenge, to get free of the modes of material nature. And therefore Krishna says, Daivihe sagunamaya. Mama maya dhratiya, mama viye prapadyante, maya mitam charantite. This divine energy of mine, Maya, is very difficult to overcome. The one who surrenders unto me can very easily cross beyond it. So this is the key. You got to surrender to Krishna. Yeah. And that's what we're doing here. We're chanting Hare Krishna. We're worshiping the deity, taking prasadam, doing devotional service. So this is surrender. We got to really focus on the service to Krishna, and this will be pleasing to the soul. Nothing is more pleasing to the soul than service to Krishna. So we'll go on to the next verse here. This is text 13. When the Supreme Lord is pleased by a person's actions, automatically all the demigods, human beings, animals, birds, bees, creepers, trees, grass, and all other living entities, beginning with Lord Brahma, are pleased. The Supreme Personality of God is the super soul of everyone, and He is by nature fully pleased. Nonetheless, He came to the arena of Maharaj Gaya and said, I am fully pleased. Purport. It is explicitly stated herein that simply by satisfying the Supreme Personality of Godhead, one satisfies the demigods and all other living entities without differentiation. If one pours water on the root of a tree, all the branches, twigs, flowers, and leaves are nourished. Although the Supreme Lord is self-satisfied, He was so pleased with the behavior of Maharaj Gaya that He personally came to the sacrificial arena and said, I am fully satisfied. Who can compare to Maharaj Gaya? Wow, wouldn't that be nice? Lord Vishnu comes to you and says, I'm fully pleased with you. Wow. That would be a real exciting moment, in a person's life. So that's the goal, is to satisfy Krishna with our mind body and words. Iha yasya hirdasya karmana manasagira. Nikila swapyasvasu jivan mukta suchite. That anybody who engages their mind, their body, and the words in the service of Krishna is liberated even within this very lifetime. So we could either engage our mind, body, and words in serving Krishna, or do like practically everybody in the world is doing, engaging their mind, body, and words in sense gratification, which keeps the living entity bound to this material world. So here we're getting information of how to please Krishna by this sacrifice. And hearing is also a sacrifice. In the Bhagavad Gita, Krishna, he says, Raja Vidya, this knowledge is the king of education. So the more we connect with this king of education, this sacrifice, this hearing about Krishna, it's a sacrifice. I mean, there's so many things that people are reading, millions of books, and they're getting bound more and more to this material world by reading these books. That literature which does not give description of the glories of the Lord are said by sages to be places of pilgrimage for crows. On the other hand, that literature which does give descriptions of the glories of the Lord are of another creation directed towards bringing about a revolution in the hearts of the living entities. So that's what this, by hearing about Krishna, we create a revolution in our heart. It's a fight against Maya. Just like here in America, they had the Revolutionary War. There's the Civil War. And it was brothers fighting against brothers. So here we have an internal war. It's like I said the other day, you get the rascal mind, and we got the pure mind. So it's like we're trying to kill this rascal mind. It's an internal battle. Kurukshetra, and battle Kurukshetra is inside. It's an internal war. So we had to be prepared. We had to have this knowledge. And this knowledge is what will conquer Maya, this Raja Vidya, the king. And we're hearing about King Gaya. So the king of knowledge is the information given to us by Krishna. Raja Vidya. And Rajaguyam, it's the most secret of all secrets. Now one may say, well, how is the Bhagavad Gita the most secret of all secrets? Because we're giving them out, and we got millions distributed. I don't know how many millions, maybe about 50 million, I don't know, something. Millions. So how is it a secret? Although people have the Bhagavad Gita, so many of them, I couldn't understand. Even devotees, the first time I read it, I couldn't understand anything. So to understand the Bhagavad Gita, that's a secret. One has to read the Bhagavad Gita with devotion, with a desire to understand Krishna. Just like I was speaking to one student in the University of Florida many years ago. So I was showing him the Bhagavad Gita, and he said, "Well, I'm not religious. I don't believe in God." So I said, no one has ever seen the atom. You know that, right? He said, yeah. Then I said, but there's a process by which one can understand the atom does exist. He said, yeah, I'm aware of that. So simply, you may not be able to see God, but there is a process by which you can understand God exists. And he said, oh, what is that? That's the information in the book you have in your hand, Bhagavad Gita. This gives you information by which you can understand God exists. He said, all right, I'll take one. So many people, they think that because I can't see, God doesn't exist. But so many things we don't see that we know exist. For instance, air, thoughts, time, so many things. Subtle, these are all subtle things that we can't see, but we know exist. Yeah. So if one engages in service to Krishna, has faith that Krishna exists, then eventually we'll be able to see that person whom we have faith in. Yeah. Eventually. So Raja Vidya, Rajaguyam Pavitram, this is the purest knowledge. Pure knowledge. Pure knowledge means that simply by hearing it, we get purified. That's pure knowledge. All these other books out there, you read and you get contaminated. Here you get and you get purified. Yeah. Like one devotee was distributing books, and he handed a book to a student, and as soon as the person held the book, he said, "Oh, this is a powerful book." And the devotee said, "That's because you're holding God in your hands." Oh, okay, well, that explains it. Of course, he took a book. So these are powerful books. You could, even just by touching it, they could feel the power. Idam uttamam. This knowledge is transcendental, completely transcendental. And if we hear again and again, again and again for a long time, we also become transcendental. We become transcendental to this material nature. So Krishna is completely transcendental. And the books or the knowledge that he gives to us is completely transcendental. And we become transcendental by hearing again and again and again. Raja Vidya, Rajaguyam, Pavitam Uttamam, Pratyaksa, and because it gives direct perception of the self through realization, it's the perfection of religion. It's everlasting and it's joyfully performed. So this is the knowledge that we've been given. It not only is it purified, it's transcendental, it's joyfully performed. If we just follow the process nicely, we'll joyfully carry on. And Prabhupada one time he said, if you're not happy in Krishna consciousness, you're doing something wrong. It's a natural byproduct of devotional service is that you feel happiness. Bhakti parusana bhava virakti anyata chaisit vika ekakala papadyamana tasnas tusti puksi sunagaya nunagasha. That by rendering devotional service to Krishna, three things automatically occur. We attain love for Krishna, we get detachment, and we get realization of Krishna. We get love for Krishna, detachment, and realization of Krishna. Just as when we eat, we experience pleasure, which is compared to bhakti. This is the highest pleasure, is love for Krishna. Just like we hear of devotees that are experiencing so much ecstasy, their body shivers, tears flow from their eyes, hairs are standing on end. To Prabhupada, sometimes he'd be giving class, and he'd go into complete ecstasy. One time, this is in Mayapur, and Prabhupada, he was chanting Jaya Radha Madhava, and he just went into complete ecstasy, stopped chanting, just internal absorption. And imagine how ecstatic that'd be to be sitting in front of Prabhupada, and he goes into ecstasy. So the devotees are just like completely awed. Couldn't imagine what it was. What it meant. I mean, the whole atmosphere was completely surcharged with the spiritual world. And then one devotee started chanting, and some of the devotees looked at him like, "What are you doing? You just let's experience this very rare moment here with Prabhupada." And then Prabhupada came out, and devotees are upset that this devotee has started chanting. And then later on the morning walk, Prabhupada was walking with the devotees, and devotee asked Prabhupada, you went into some internal absorption there in Jaya Radha Madhava. What should we do at that time when you... And Prabhupada was a little embarrassed. He said, "Oh, I don't do that very much." And he was a little embarrassed, you know. And the devotee said, "Well, Prabhupada, what should we do?" Prabhupada didn't. He took it like, "Yeah, just chant Hare Krishna." But this is Prabhupada. He was experiencing this incredible happiness, which we're all searching for. That's in connection with Krishna, not this materialistic, sense gratification. This is for the animals. The animals are doing that. They're eating, sleeping, mating, defending. So if we're trying to get pleasure in the same way, no. Ahara nidra bhayamaitanam cha samanyameta pashabi niranam. That the animals and the human beings, they have 4 things that we're all doing, but the one good quality that we have as human beings is we can inquire about the absolute truth. The animals can't do that. So that's our advantage. But unfortunately, people are misusing this rare human form of life and just doing the same thing as the animals. What a waste. What a huge waste. Finally we get the human form of life, and then they're just doing the same thing as the animals. No, this is a tato brahma jigyasa. This is the time to inquire about the absolute truth. Get closer to the absolute truth, Krishna. So bhakti parasana bhava virakti, by this process we become detached. We become detached from material life. And we want to serve Krishna. This is a natural thing. Just like, I'll give you an example. Imagine there's a king. Like in Europe, 500, 600, 700 years ago, kings used to have somebody that would check the food, make sure there's no poison. You know? Kings used to get poisoned. It was a pretty common thing. They would have someone check the food, make sure there's no poison. I don't know how they check. But they would check. So imagine there's a king sitting there getting ready to splurge on some boga, and his secretary comes and said, "King, I just got word that there's poison in your food, and it wasn't detected." So although he was ready to dive right in and eat the boga, as soon as he got that message, he became detached, pushed it away. He's not going to eat it. Right? So, similarly, we were fixated in devotion, in sense gratification. And then we got this message from Bhagavad Gita, from Srimad Bhagavatam. This material life is poison. It's going to keep you bound to the material world, to the cycle of repeated birth and death, samsara. Don't mess with it. Chant Hare Krishna. So some heard that and are practicing Krishna consciousness. But material life, it's poison. It kills our spiritual life. Bhakti parusana bhava virakti. And then we get realization of Krishna. By engaging in devotional service, we get realization that we're spirit soul. We're not the body. We're not of this world. We're of the spiritual world. Krishna is the Supreme Personality of God. We get realization eventually by this process. Yeah. And then we experience the joy. The joy of devotional service. So maybe we'll stop there. Balaram has a question. Tyler, you have a question?
Thank you for a wonderful class, Vijay Prabhu.
Thank you.
You thought, when you introduced the idea of the Somaras, that was the same idea I had, because when you introduced Vishnu, I was like, okay, well, what's going to happen with him? And then you said he's self-satisfied, he doesn't need that. But Indra was imbibing in that. This is the first time I've come across this concept here. I've heard of Soma, even the Greeks and others have talked about this kind of elixir of the gods. Do you know much about it, or why Indra's drinking it, or where it comes from, or why, if you're in the heavenly planets, are you drinking this thing?
Yeah, I don't think it's like the alcohol that people drink here. It's heavenly. It's like a heavenly intoxicant. Just like Balaram also, he would he sometimes he'd take a drink or two. He would get a little intoxicated, and then even it's mentioned in the Krishna book that he'd get intoxicated and then he'd lay down. And Prabhupada mentioned that this is an intelligent person who's intoxicated. He lays down. He doesn't go on. So it's not like so Balaram, he would get intoxicated also. Not like drinking. It was just like it would be like honey or something, right? Varuni beverage. So this heavenly intoxication that they would take, it's not like it's not that they become addicted to it. And you got to keep on having the soma. Just occasionally they have like this sacrifice. But sometimes I guess he would get a little too intoxicated, and sometimes he'd commit offenses.
So Indra's drinking it because it's being used in the sacrifice?
Yeah.
So it's a special occasion beverage?
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
I get it.
Yeah. Yes, Bhakti Matthew. Or Balaram.
Or Bhakti Joseph.
Joseph, I'm sorry.
Yeah, intoxication, we know what it is. It's a heavenly intoxication. We get intoxicated when we're dancing in here, and we go into a state of mind where I get lost, and so I kind of feel that internal bliss sometimes, when I'm in here dancing. And but the arena, you talked about the spiritual arena that they were doing this in, getting intoxicated in.
Yeah.
What was that arena?
Well, that's a sacrifice. They're doing a sacrifice for the pleasure of Lord Vishnu. There's just like we have sacrifices here. There's a fire yajna, and we put bananas in the fire. The fire is considered to be the mouth of Vishnu. So people make offerings of bananas and other things, and it's an offering for the pleasure of Lord Vishnu. And here it was a very successful sacrifice, because he says here, "I'm fully satisfied." They did a very successful sacrifice. Specifically, what they did, it's not mentioned here, but he was pleased. And if he could please Lord Vishnu, very auspicious. Just like we're doing the Sankirtan Yajna, we're distributing books. So Krishna is very pleased by this. Prabhupada said, if you want to please me, distribute books. So if we know that if we're pleasing Prabhupada, Krishna is pleased. Yeah. Yes, Balaram Prabhu.
You mentioned earlier how this devotee out on books put a book in a guy's hand, and the guy said, "Oh, it's very powerful," and then the devotee said, "Oh, because it's God." So I just wanted to, maybe discuss or get some further, discussion about this point. Because some devotees, they go out on book distribution, and they use different lines. This line, that line, or they describe the books in certain ways, and so a lot of the times it's not a super direct way.
Yeah.
It may not be direct. But I remember hearing Prahladananda Swami, that Prahladananda Swami would be like really direct. He'd say, "Oh, this is a book about love of God," and he'd be like really upfront and direct. So what do you think about that in general? The devotees doing different things, and specifically, I guess you could say, being more direct.
Okay. Well, I've distributed books with Prahladananda Swami quite a few times, and I never heard him be that direct.
Oh, okay.
Maybe he does occasionally. He's that direct, but one line he would use is, "Do you know what yoga is?" Yoga means connection, the soul, the Supreme Soul. So I remember that one. But I don't remember him being direct that much, because people come here to forget God. Basically, they tell me, "Oh, this is about God." I'm sorry, not interested. Yeah. So Prabhupada, he wanted all the books to have pictures, because people are attracted to pictures. So he wanted books to have pictures that had a message. So that's why, I heard that, and I thought, well, I'll just follow Prabhupada's instructions. So I show the pictures, and people are attracted. And it doesn't directly, explain, the pictures. Some of them, there's pictures of Krishna in there, of course. But people are attracted to art, especially if there's a message. But, we should be direct. It used to be that devotees would say, Prabhupada, devotees they're telling people that the money is going for refugees in Bangladesh. And Prabhupada said then they have to make sure that every farthing, every penny that they collect, it should go for that purpose. But not a penny was going for that. They were just saying that to collect money. So Prabhupada said we should be known as perfectly honest. Perfectly honest. We should be known as gentlemen. Gentlemen are honest. So we have to be very direct and honest. It doesn't mean you have to tell, this is about Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead. It doesn't have to be that direct. Although some devotees do, but not very often. Because again, and also people have different religion. No, I'm a Christian. Or I'm this religion or that religion. Although I distribute quite a few books to Christians. They say I'm a Christian. They said, "Oh, that's great." There's one devotee, Aishwarya Prabhu. He used to live here. Were you here when he was here? He approached a couple and they said, "No, we're atheists." They said, "Oh God, thank God! I thought you were Christians, And then he showed them the book, and they walked away and got the books. He just, showed the book a little bit. He does like I do. He showed the pictures a little bit. But I tell them when they find out they're Christian, well, that's fantastic. This book has many very good arguments against atheism, and we're not trying to change your belief. There's always more to learn about God, right? So quite often they take with that. But I was distributing one time in Los Angeles airport, and I was speaking to one businessman, and he said, "You're a Hare Krishna?" I said, "Yeah." "You guys used to be bad. Now we can see you've cleaned up your act quite a bit. We used to do so many, because we were young, immature. As one devotee said, in the early days, there was only one mature person in the whole movement, Prabhupada. We were all just young, 20 years old, didn't know what was going on, scamming and doing this and that. But we learned our lessons now. Now it's pretty clean book distribution. Not completely. There's still a little kinks we're trying to work out, but it's not easy. Okay.
Hare Krishna Prabhu, I just want to let you know there is one question pending on the Zoom.
Okay.
May I?
You may.
Vijay Prabhu Dandavat pranams. My question is, what is the difference between firm devotion and shaken devotion?
What devotion? Firm devotion and shaken devotion. Well, firm devotion would mean that you're absorbed in serving Krishna. And it's like Prabhupada, that was firm devotion, just completely absorbed in devotional service. And shaken devotion, sometimes we're thinking of Krishna and trying to serve Krishna, and sometimes we're thinking of Maya and doing things that are not conducive for advancement in Krishna consciousness. So we're trying to get off the shaken, sometimes in and sometimes out of Krishna. It's like one devotee asked another devotee, "How you doing?" And she said, "Well, sometimes I fall into Krishna." Like sometimes you hear that, well, I fell into Maya. She said, well, sometimes I fall into Krishna. So we want to have more and more Krishna and less Maya. And eventually, no Maya, just Krishna, and that's firm. That's firm devotion for Krishna. Leave no room for Maya. Prabhupada, he said this is the, he said it was, no gap. This process is a no gap process. Leave no room for Maya. Just Krishna, Krishna, and more Krishna. And that's firm. That's the goal.
Prabhu, if I may, because if there's a gap, then Maya is right there to enter.
As soon as we forget Krishna, Maya is right there. Right there.
My God.
So we gotta be, It's a dangerous world. Param yad viparam natesam. Danger at every step. Even in not even every step. You're just sitting in your chair, in your desk, and be completely in Maya. You don't have to take a step. It's a very dangerous place. So, therefore, we're given this nice process of chanting Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare. This keeps us connected, leaves no gap for Maya.
Thank you very much, Prabhu. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Srila Prabhupada ki